we've just got to be really, really careful with how it is that we go around recruiting people to ensure that we don't set people up to fail and ultimately our business to fail by putting the micromanager in a place where they need to be open, loving and caring and give people space to grow. If people are overly controlling and overly dominating and overly micromanaging, they're simply doing it out of fear based upon their own inadequacies. It's a projection of how scared they are of themselves, and they put that on top of other people. There's a big question. Number one is, do you want those people in your organization? Number one. Now, going back to another video that I recorded a little while ago, the answer is maybe. If you're like a mountain rescue team leader, you need to go into an environment for 45 minutes and save somebody's life on a cliff face and drag them out and get them out and get your whole team out safely, 100%, right? They can lead, they can manage, they can be specific, they can dictate, they can everything. But if that same person needs to go and lead a hike across Antarctica over 3 weeks, that boy who cried wolf style of leadership will end up with everybody being eaten by a wolf at some point in time. And so I don't think that there's right or wrong people to have in a business. I think somebody's natural God-given competencies and characteristics need to be placed in the right job, doing the right thing at the right time. And that may well be that somebody's really good to go and sit here, but really struggles to sit there. I once worked in a really large South African insurance company. And the CEO, when I first started consulting there, he would never park in the CEO's parking space. He would just find a space. He would always walk through the main reception and greet the cleaner, the receptionist, everybody by name. He would go up in the lift, up the stories of the building, and he would get off at a random floor, and he'd walk a random route through the floor on his way down, then down the stairs and past the coffee room, whatever else, to his office, like in the most convoluted, weird path. And he'd know people's names. He'd go, hi, how are you today? And Rob, what are you doing here today? I'd be like, oh my gosh, he knows my name. Help. I don't know. And then he'd go up and you see him wander around a floor with like big open plan desks, and he'd just go and plonk himself next to somebody and go, how are you? How's the family? And everybody on that floor is like, oh my gosh, you could come and speak to me next, right? He was really laissez-faire in lots of ways with his leadership style, very friendly, but it was almost like he had a leadership style of the Holy Spirit, like ever present, at random, in different places at different times. You didn't know where he was going to be and when he was going to be when. And he wasn't going to come and tell you off. He was just going to come and sit next to you. You go, brown trouser moment. The CEO sat next to me of this like 10,000 person plus business. The next CEO came in and was completely different in characteristics. And he micromanaged through numbers and processes. He would always park in the CEO space. He would always take the executive elevator to the executive suite, straight to his office, into his office, work, and would only engage with people within diary structured meetings and built everything around numbers. And the share value of the business dropped by 36% in 2 years, right? Is there a place for the numbers guy within the business? Yes. Is it the CEO? No. The sad thing, and the really sad thing about this, is that would mean in a badly run business that he was salary capped because he couldn't be the CEO. That's a crying shame. However, he could be the CFO, the Chief Finance Officer, really, really cool job, and flourish. But we have to understand that people work for people, not for things. And they don't work for structures, they don't work for systems, and they don't work for numbers. They work for love, they work to be inspired, they work to be motivated, they work for experience. And we've just got to be really, really careful with how it is that we go around recruiting people to ensure that we don't set people up to fail and ultimately our business to fail by putting the micromanager in a place where they need to be open, loving and caring and give people space to grow. But equally, the person who's naturally talented at love and space to grow and whatever else really probably isn't best suited to manage the numbers. Specific, exact, highly measurable, tax, legal perspectives, blah, 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 blah. But there is the space for both within a business to create a really cool partnership. And so I think there's far more thought needs to go into hiring people than just a CV, a track record, a resume, a reference, and an interview. I think we spend a lot of time going into the characteristics of somebody. I met a new client for yesterday, and I did their psychometrics this morning over 15 global psychometric platforms, right? Based upon a 3-hour conversation when they didn't know they were being profiled at the same time, right? That allows me to see into their thumping heartbeat and soul and really, really support them to take their superpowers and build their business by ensuring that their superpowers get used the entire time, and their kryptonite powers, they're the ones that cripple them, We employ people to fill those gaps behind them, so they always get to go and use their superpower, as opposed to how traditional businesses would be grown, which said that a business owner must ... which is fine in the assumption that all business owners are robots, but they're not.